We are all building our own art schools and no one is talking about it. I realized something strange about my fellow art students. We are all taking the same secret class. It is not from any school and there is no degree. But it is how we are really learning art today. We have quietly become experts not just in art, but in art education itself. We know every course, every tutorial, every teacher online, and we are building our own schools. I started a Discord server a while ago, and I admit that I was a bit naive. It started with channels for each chapter in my memory drawing workbook and a few channels for sketchbook pages. You lived mostly in the sketchbook page channels. You looked at the channels for the exercises of each book chapter and you said, "That's great, thank you, but I'll continue on my own usual routine if you don't mind." You design your own curriculum. You have your own ideas about what you want to achieve, what exercises you need to do, and you mostly go online to look for information, tips, tutorials, but it is all in service of fitting in to the curriculum you are designing for yourself. So, I eventually removed the channels dedicated to my exercises. It appears there are at least two types of us. You may be a beginner who wants their hand to be held. I do see that online, places where you are told exactly what to do, step by step. Read this, watch this video, now do that exercise, and then you will be able to draw from imagination or get a job in the industry or whatever specific end result the teacher had in mind. 2, you are like me. You design your own curriculum, searching for bits of information online and in books and from videos, picking what you think you need and going from there. Where does practice drawing this fit into this? I really don't know. I don't take you by the hand, leading you through lesson material and exercises step by step. I'm just showing you my process, showing you what worked for me. You're like me, or rather, I'm like you. When creating a website like Practice Drawing This, it is tempting to start seeing yourself as a teacher, but I am not. I'm a student like you. It strikes me that we would rather need a coach than a teacher. A teacher designs a fixed lesson plan for their students, and that is great, but we seem to be a bit stubborn. We seem to have our own ideas when it comes to what we want to achieve. Maybe we want to learn to draw in a manga style, or maybe we want to make comics, or maybe we want to learn to draw like Kim Young-gi. And we go look for information. An artist who is ahead of us could coach us, could mentor us, could help us. Maybe that's what we often look for when we listen to longer YouTube videos, listening to artists who are ahead of us, talking about making art. Fellow artists, coaches rather than teachers. The difference is that a personal human coach or mentor can take your specific goals into account and that they can custom design a specific course for you to take. Rather than critiquing work, rather than feedback on specific work, we're looking for someone who has been around the block to tell us which direction we should take in our drawing practice. It is how the masters used to get trained in the past, how Rembrandt was trained. You would have guilds, you'd enter as a child, and you would be mentored by a master, shown the tricks and tools of the trade. I don't know if a guild would work today, to be honest. When you became apprenticed with a master artist, you started by sweeping the floor. And then, maybe, just maybe, you would be allowed to grind color pigments much later, and slowly you would get trained, copying etchings from other masters first and such. I don't think we would put up with having to sweep the floor when apprenticed today. Artist, can I apprentice with you? Yes, sure. Sweep the floor. I don't think that we would put up with that now. A coaching system could work. You could occasionally chat with an artist who is ahead of you, one who can give you tips on what to try based on the direction you want to take. Maybe that's why we watch YouTube videos where the artist on screen talks to us and gives us information. It feels like we're with a coach, a friend guiding us along on our path. Coaching takes time. It takes time away from what the intended coach wants to do, which is to draw, just like you and I. Because the coach is just like you. They are also just an art student. They are just ahead of you. I guess a mentorship could work, but isn't a mentorship just coaching but done for free? That would be asking a lot from experienced artists. The current teaching model, where there is a fixed curriculum for all students, that one-size-fits-all approach, does not seem to quite fit, as you and I are quite individualistic about our wishes, desires and approaches. That is why I left Art Academy after 3 years. They wanted to train me to become a painter, and I wanted to become an editorial cartoonist. It just didn't fit. It wasn't personalized to what I wanted to achieve, the path I was desiring to take. Coaching, mentoring me on my path would have been way more useful back then. They could have given me tips and advice based on what I wanted to achieve. Exercises tailored to my own personal goals. How do we set up such a coaching system so that it benefits everyone? Because that is what we all ultimately want. I think someone to guide us on our way, our own chosen path. We get stuck drawing and can use a helping hand, pulling us out. What you and I really want is coaching, mentorship, not one-size-fits-for-all courses. We art students today are mostly self-directing their learning. Many of us are consuming tutorials, masterclasses, and YouTube lessons online. This happens because traditional courses do not match personal artistic goals. They assume we want careers in concept art, illustration, etc. But most of us have individual creative goals, expression, storytelling, identity, or personal growth. The internet has become the real art school. We art students curate from Pinterest, Skillshare, YouTube, Patreon, Gumroad, Instagram, etc. We have become experts in learning and knowing what is out there, and knowing which teachers or courses actually help. We are super consumers and experts of online art education. The disadvantages are that you may take the wrong road occasionally that leads to a dead end, and that you may feel lost occasionally. Which exercise should you do? Which course should you take? Is it good? Is it worth your time and money? This is a relatively new thing. The information has only been available to us for a decade or two. Rembrandt didn't quite have access to this. An interesting thing about this is that most information is already there. Most isn't new. What is new is how it is presented to you, how it is delivered. The innovation here is that the internet and the people and companies on it have made it easier for you than ever to access that educational material. You don't necessarily need an institute for that anymore. If you really look around, it is all there. Mostly, at least. That is a great part about the community of super consumers of art education material. We also like to share what we find with our fellow super consumers of these art resources, making it even easier for each other to find the relevant educational material. In that respect, you and I and every online art student who shares art education content with others is a part of this. Check out the Practice Drawing This website, where I host lots of drawing practice resources which you cannot find anywhere else. Thank you for listening.